Woo. This is a witch hunt. I'm sick to death, dead wrong. The odds are in your favor. No, you don't. High and dry. It's unbelievable. Tell me you can't close that deal. I won the fight.
First Take is brought to you by Cialis. The Kraken Black Spiced Rum. Release the Kraken. Please drink responsibly. And Macy's.
I knew it would come. Just we can't always do it the way we like. But Greg's ready. The staff is ready. All the way through. It is so emotional right now, and I'm trying to hold this together. I know the energy level. Barry knew the energy level in football. The things, the demands of the time, the speaking, the traveling, the trying to do things to help other people. I enjoy doing it. And the thing was, I felt it was time. But I couldn't make the decision at that time. And I don't know how many coaches ever have the opportunity to have an AD, an administration that understands and respects that. Extremely hard telling the players, as you can imagine.
Obviously, that was Bo Ryan, the winningest coach in program history. He said in June that he'd retire after the season. Then 2 months later, he wavered on that, stating he could coach 4 or 5 more years. Then yesterday, Ryan announcing he is retiring effective immediately. Associate head coach Greg Gard will serve as the interim coach. Wisconsin is a season removed from a national title game berth, and they started the season 7-5. Skip, how surprised were you by this?
Molly, Stephen A., I must admit, when I first saw the story, because I don't closely follow Wisconsin basketball, I was shocked. And my first thought was, gee, could he have just finally said, I'm not suited for this? Because I did notice that last week they lost 2 backyard in-state games to Milwaukee and Marquette. And I thought, gee, did he just sort of pull a Steve Spurrier and say, I'm just no good anymore? I've run out of gas. I don't have the emotional commitment I used to have. I don't think that happened. And by the way, I have nothing but the highest regard for this man on and off the basketball court and the great job he's done for 15 years for Wisconsin. It sounds like, from all I read, this is from a distance, that his hand-picked, carefully groomed successor, Glenn Gard, was going through a big issue with his father, who was battling cancer last spring and through the summer, recently passed away. And off the quote we just heard from Bo Ryan, that he felt it was time, but he couldn't make the decision at that time. That time was probably after they came so close last year in the national finals, barely lost to an obviously a better team, I think, a more talented team. And he lost Kaminsky and he lost Decker to the NBA, obviously. And it was time maybe not to rebuild, but to reload at Wisconsin. And maybe he felt it was time then to step down after last year's finals, but that Glenn Gard was not emotionally ready to make the full-time commitment to seize the reins. So that's what I think from a distance. That's my 2 cents from the distance that happened, that now it's time. I hated for him to step down after some sort of meaningless game, home win over Texas A&M Corpus Christi. You'd like to see a little more fanfare, a little more hoopla. That's how you're going out, Coach? But he thought it was time. I guess Glenn Gard now thinks he's ready to go to make the commitment. They have lost 5 games already. They were ranked 17th in an AP preseason poll, but only 5th in the Big Ten preseason polls. So it's going to be a struggle this year. I don't even know if they'll make the tournament or not, but it sounds like he was ready to step down after last season. Your thoughts?
Well, my thought is that he's a treasure to the profession. When you're 68 years of age, Skip, and you have the success that he has had, you deserve the right to go out on your own terms, no matter what those terms are. 15 years, 12, 21 seasons. I looked at his record. Not one single year in those 15 years has he ever won less than 19 games. Last 2 seasons, he won 30. The season before, he won 36 games last year, school record. got them to the national championship game, a game they could have won if one or two plays had gone their way. This year, you come in, your third leading scorer is now your primary leading scorer because Frank Kaminsky gets drafted by the Charlotte Hornets. Sam Decker goes to the Houston Rockets. And so you got to rely on Nigel Hayes. You're looking at the team. You understand that there's a level of energy and focus and tenacity and other things that have to come into the equation in order for you to maximize the potential that exists on this particular squad. And at the age of 68, after coaching so many years and being one of the preeminent figures in all of college basketball over the last 15 years, he reached a point where he said, hey, my time is up. Now, I do agree with you, considering what his assistant coach Gardner was going through with his dad in the offseason and over the summer. It does strike me, Bo Ryan strikes me as the kind of guy that would have gladly walked away before this season began if all of that wasn't going on. There's no way on earth that I believe that this man did not contemplate walking away, and then all of a sudden, after 12 games and a 7-5 start, he just said, hey, I'm leaving. I've had enough. I don't believe that for 1 second. I believe he had every intention of leaving before the season began, once last season had ended, but because of the troubles the now head coach, then an assistant, was going through, he said that wasn't the time. And I think because of that, he didn't want to leave the program in shambles, and that's why he didn't do what he did. But now that the time is right, I think he's doing what he ultimately wanted to do once they had lost the national championship game last year. But he still walks away with his head held high, and anybody who knows anything about the game of college basketball should have nothing but profound respect for this man and what he has brought to the game. And I think you'll see people expressing those very sentiments as the season progresses, especially over the next few days when we get an opportunity to talk about Bo Ryan. He was a good one. There's no question about that.
And it appears the program's in good hands, a good succession plan there as well. Up next, Big Ben says Vontaze Burfict intentionally went after his knees with this hit on Sunday. Did the guys think it was a low blow? Don't miss their reaction to that next.
Did I fall asleep and dream? You did it. You chose him. He was horrible. How about them Cowboys?
Oh, whatever.
I don't know what he's doing. He tap danced like the late, great Gregory Hines.
I mean, this is unbelievable. You need to show him more respect. You can say that nonsensical stuff, and then to top that off, you're moody. I'm not joking, bro.